I have received another great question. What is your opinion on having goals and desires? And it's such a great question because in all my videos, I talk about that you have the ego that is in the I am not, I want to be, or I should be. So the ego always sees that everything that I have here, it's not okay, I want that. As soon as we achieve something or get something, we're only content with that for a very, very short while. And then we start to look for something else, for something better, for something more. And in all my videos, I talk about that what is right now, you can actually find your contentment in. So I understand the question when you ask, but then what about goals? What about desires? What about, wanting an education or wanting to do better on a daily basis, or get rid of an anxiety or depression, or manage life better? I mean, what about that? Are we supposed just to lay back in apathy and resignation and do nothing? So I completely get your question. The thing you need to do is find out where the question comes from. Because if the question comes from a space where this is not okay, I have depression, I have an anxiety, I'm, not good in my life, I'm not content with my level of education, I'm not content in my marriage, I'm not content with my work, so I want something else. If that is where it comes from, that starting point, that is based in the ego. And that will never ever lead to any kind of contentment or satisfaction. Because as soon as you move out of that, you will move with your starting point, which means that when you have your degree, or when you are married, or when you're divorced, or when you have changed your job, or are out of an anxiety or whatever, you will never ever be content. Because the starting point is the same. So what you would need to do to have goals and to have desires and to wanting to do better in the world, it's to look at where you are right now and find contentment in where you are right now. Okay, let's say an anxiety and depression. Okay, I have an anxiety and depression. I do not want an anxiety and depression. How can I create space for what already is and be content with that? That does not mean that you don't want to get out of an anxiety or depression. It just means that you're content with what is right now, because everything carries a learning situation. Everything is useful. Every single situation you're in life is useful. It brings a learning situation to the table, which you then can evolve with and become more grounded in you with. So it's not about getting away from it. It's actually maintaining what is, but growing within it. So with an anxiety and depression, yes, I have an anxiety, I don't like that. I have depression, I don't like that, but it's okay. It's okay for me to be in a space where I feel an anxiety and depression. It's okay. Or if you want to lose weight, this body I have right now, it's okay. I'm fine with that. I'm content with what I have right now. So you might not feel that you're content with that. Then the next level would be, I know I should be content. I'm not content. I want something else. Can you be content with that? Can you create a space for you to have something in your life which you do not want, but it is as it is? Can you create space for that? Can you be okay with that? So right now, in this moment, something is happening. I do not want it to happen, but it is happening. It is happening. Can I create space for it to be as it is? And the thing that is happening with us when we do that is that by creating space, instead of wanting to get out of it, or finding solutions to get out of it, or fighting with what is, we lean back, we exhale, and then we find a space in us where what is right now It's not okay, but I can be with it. And that makes it okay. So it's not condoning whatever is happening. It's just acknowledging that it is happening. And when you acknowledge what is happening, your starting point change. Because then all of a sudden you're not fighting against it anymore. You're not trying to get away from it anymore, because what is okay. I can build with this. I can work with this. I can be with this. I can create space for this. And then you're not fighting against it anymore. And that means that you're changing the starting point. I had one in my groups where she has her entire life had a feeling of low self-worth. And she's been doing courses and reading books and taking degrees and everything to get rid of the feeling of low self-worth. When she realized that the low self-worth was there, and the only thing she had to do was just acknowledge that it's there. Yes, I have low self-worth. I can be with that. I can create space for the part of me that think that I have a lower value than everyone else. I can be with that part of me, not trying to get away with it, but just be with it. And when she did that, all of a sudden she saw there was nothing to fight against. She was completely fine. It's okay to have low self-worth. It's okay. You don't need to battle against it. You don't need to fight to get out of it. You can just be with what is. And with that, her entire starting point changed, which means that all of a sudden she's not looking to do things to prove that she doesn't have a low self-worth. She can lean back and say, yeah, it's a part of me. It's part of who I am. So what do I want to do with me being the way that I am? What do I want to do? And then you can, then your entire starting point change, and you will find that your goals also change. Because if you're okay with having a low self-worth, you do not any longer need to prove that you don't have it, because you acknowledge that you have it. So your entire goal and all your craving and all your desire all of a sudden change. You're not interested in proving that, disproving that. You're fine with what is. So to answer your question, is it okay to have goals and desires? It depends completely on the starting point. Thank you.